How are you doing, everyone? Let's talk about Rich Tech. Let's talk about Sound-Hound. These two stocks are going crazy. I've been yapping my gums here about these stocks for a long time now, and Sound-Hound obviously for a long time. Rich Tech's a little bit of a newer play here, but it's paying off dramatically. And the one reason why, and we'll just start with Rich Tech here. One reason why we're seeing Rich Tech really take off here is because the zeitgeist of it is getting a lot of attention. Is the sense of Rich Tech getting a lot of push partnership stuff going on that's been going on for like a while now, with Nvidia getting a lot more talked about now. I've seen people talking about it on TikTok now. I've seen people, I guess people are talking about it on YouTube. I'm not sure, but it's getting a lot more attention. Okay, and Rich Tech obviously is a robotics company, and it's not like a robotics at the moment like maybe you're thinking. It's not like Optimus, Tesla's robot that will be coming out here in the following year. It's more of these like serving robots, cleaning streets, delivering food, things like that. It's really based in Las Vegas right now, but expansion is very much in the palms of what the future holds for this company. So the growth right now is getting a little crazy. And, their last quarterlies here, they lost. I mean, they did not meet expectation. Now, it wasn't off like crazy. It wasn't like, oh my God. But, I think what we're watching here, and I really think this is kind of what's coming here. I think we'll know by January, February of what the market is kind of looking to here. I think there's always a theme in the market, and I somewhat think that robotic stocks are going to do very well in 2026. And I think Rich Tech here is starting to get a lot more attention just based off that. Not to mention great things that have happened here, and it's in this moment of push. People are essentially piling into it, and it's driving up the price. It's manipulated right now, and there's nothing wrong with that to me because people are making money off of it, and that's totally fine. So in articles are being released right now where they're saying they're not helping the situation because they're saying, hey, we believe Rich Tech is a fair evaluation of what could and might happen here around $6 to $7. So I mean, still this thing has not even met evaluation. What some of these articles are, not that these articles are a big deal, for God's sakes. I don't, plan my investment life what random articles say, but they're putting that out there in the feed right now. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Rich Tech has went way beyond what I thought this would hit. I was very comfortable saying this is going to hit $4 to $5 3-4 weeks ago when this thing was at like $2 and barely trickling into $3. Now we are at something totally different. So it's very interesting to watch how this is running right now. Can this make it to actually $8? I don't think that's that crazy because of where the market's at right now. Now, too, it is only Monday in the market. Well, excuse me, it's Tuesday. But Monday was really good. Last week was incredible. Yesterday was really good. Today being Tuesday, there's obviously still room for things to happen this week. We've got some inflation reports coming this week. But, even with the inflation reports, they've got to be real bad for things to like get upset right now. The market likes what's happening with the rate cut situation. It likes it. Not to mention us working out trade deals with China. That supposedly is in very good form right now. So the market's running, and when the market's running like this, low cap stocks are going to run too that have any kind of momentum to do well. And Rich Tech here is getting a lot of attention. So, I look at Rich Tech, and yes, they're not meeting quarterlies. For the person that's like, I'm not putting a dime in this because they're not hitting quarterlies. I completely understand that 100%. But I do think this is something that you need to watch going into 2026. I think, I don't know, obviously, but I think somewhere in this future market, robotic stocks companies are going to start getting a lot of attention. And, they don't have to be robots like iRobot movie where they're walking around, they're doing, just simple things, kind of what Rich Tech is doing right now, just day-to-day, delivery systems, cleaning systems, just, automated things that help general society that people wouldn't even think about. This is very much what Rich Tech is pushing into here. So what I'm really looking at with Rich Tech is how much can expansion grow? And obviously NVIDIA is paying attention to them, so there's something going on here with that. But the growth pattern here the last 2 weeks has been fundamentally insane. I mean, and a lot of stocks are looking like this right now with this candlestick chart because of we had rate cut conversation Wednesday. The next 2 days, the market went ballistic. Friday was huge. Monday today was huge. And we're seeing a lot of stocks just push into brand new territory. And, Rich Tech is one of those stocks right now. So I'm very curious to see where it runs to and where it lands. That's what I'm looking for right now. Where is this thing going to anchor in? I'm looking for a sell-off to around 4 to 450. But right now, we haven't had any dramatic pushback in the market. So that is kind of where I look at this and I go, where can we find, some pushback? But it's been insane. This has been an insane, days in the market now. And friends, the dark horse, my sweet dark horse here, Soun-Rr, has been so good to us. Soun-Rr here is going to be releasing quarterlies Q3 here going into November. Now, when that happens, I think obviously there is a lot of conversation that Soun-Rr will shock us again and they will release wonderful quarterlies, and that's what I'm hoping. That's really what I'm hoping. So I think right now Soun-Rr has multiple things working for it. It has an army of investors that are pushing it, that believe in it, that we know people are willing to pay in the 20s for Soun-Rr. It was just the beginning of the year where Soun-Rr was running around 24, almost $25, and now we're getting back to those levels almost. So Soun-Rr's been here before. This isn't anything where it's like, oh my God, we've been here. But this time around, this is a very much more solid structure of a pillar of money that's been built into this new run right here. I mean, this started essentially in August. It had a huge push at the end of August, then a huge sell-off here to make that, cup and handle momentum we've got now. And now with this rate cut news, it has really taken off. But Soun-Rr with these next quarter, if they release another quarterly that has, $45 million quarterly attached to it, this thing is going to hold this $17 to $20 position that it will be at by that time going into November. And, this is an easy conversation of this holding that position. 100%. So, finally Soun-Rr is getting a lot of attention. I think this is kind of, overdue. Soun-Rr should have probably been a $15 to $18 stock here months ago. But through other things here, the market situations, and obviously that Q1 that came out here with Soun-Rr was a hiccup. When Q1 came out at the beginning of the year, it was missing around almost $2 million of where it needed to be revenue wise, but still very much up compared to Q1 of 2024. So, I mean, it's been a phenomenal year. Last year was phenomenal. This year's been insane. And, I'm very curious to see if they keep this growth pattern. Let's just like dream a little bit. Let's go into like 2026. If Soun-Rr here starts producing, it's hard to say because the jumps of what they're doing right now revenue wise it's mathematically insane. If they get into the summer of 2026 and they're still leapfrogging into these big revenue bubbles here, keeping what they've done but pushing into new ground of somewhere around like $50 million, maybe more than that. This is like a Rudy story. This is like this company. You want to talk about a win? This is a win. So, it's been the dark horse of 2024. It's been the dark horse of 2025 here, and I think it could win again here in 2026. Just for a company that, honestly, a lot of people didn't think it could do what it did. I remember talking about Soun-Rr last year, and people were, even in the beginning of this year, people were like, it's gonna go back down to $5. This is a $3 stock all day. And when that quarterly came out at the beginning of the year, I was a little upset. I was a little emotional. And then after that quarterly, that's when I really started to panic a little bit, because SoundHound was just not talking. They were not releasing news. They were not, like, talking to investors. I mean, it was dead silence, besides a few little things that, like there was like a chicken deal with a restaurant they had, and restaurant chain, and that weren't really hearing a lot. So I was getting a little concerned. But when that quarterly came out, I mean, that was like, okay, this is crazy. This is freaking nuts. So yeah, I mean, just Rich Tech, I think there's a future there if they can continue to pull off what they're going to pull off. If NVIDIA's messing around with them, listen, look at this. I didn't say this, but what got SoundHound noticed and what got SoundHound the ball rolling with them was an investment from NVIDIA at the beginning of 2024. And then NVIDIA invested another huge chunk of money in SoundHound at the end of 2024. Now, of course, they took it out and they collected their money, but there was a partnership there for a minute. There was, exchange of, what they were doing. And that's what we're seeing now. What, a little different now with Rich Tech, obviously, but the fact that they had this, this push from NVIDIA, the NVIDIA push, this is getting them a lot of attention. So why I say Rich Tech could go to $7 to $8 here within a small amount of time, I don't think that's that crazy. Now, obviously, for it to hold those kind of numbers, they're gonna have to come out with some defining news, but more than likely, they need to, annihilate their quarterlies. So yeah, I think these are two great plays. Obviously, SoundHound doing amazing with revenue, and Rich Tech, we're hopeful that this could be a huge turnaround for this company into the coming year. So friends, listen, I'm going to wish all of you the best of luck. I think there's a lot of money to be made here with these stocks. Obviously, a lot of people have made a ton of money so far, insane money. And that's why I put it on the thumbnail, because it's just insane what we've seen here in the past 4 days. I mean, life-changing money. So yeah, friends, take care of yourself. I really do appreciate everyone being here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.